Well, this is actively something I wasn't expecting to talk about. So yeah, if people don't know and all that, I wasn't really excited for the One Piece movie coming out, like One Piece Film Z, because like I really enjoyed Film Z, and it was just like it just sounds like some pompous prick, you know, in his casino, like, and sing about it. And well, I decided to watch the new like special that came out, which technically is a prequel movie because it's about an hour and a half long and all that. But One Piece Heart of Gold is actually surprisingly really goddamn enjoyable and fun, addressing a lot of the problems that I actually have still to this day with the One Piece anime and the show itself. Actually feeling like an adventure, having one just big long off adventure, adding into the fact as well that this is actually animated by people that can do their jobs correctly and not the people that we've been having for Dragon Ball Super and the majority of One Piece. It was fluent, it was beautiful, and they do it every time for their like specials and their movies, especially if people are seeing like what exactly like we had last time with the episode of Sabo, which I still say is like probably my favorite like whole special out of all of One Piece. So it kicks off immediately. We see this little girl Olga that's being like defended and like escorted by CP0, which was like very kind of shocking thing from the start there, and them getting attacked straight away by treasure hunters who are trying to find this gold that they're talking about. And like this thing, yeah, like as we find later and all that is some serious shit you should not want to mess with. Which Olga is actively being chased by Mad Treasure and his treasure hunting crew, and Olga ends up escaping and ending up on the ship of the Straw Hats themselves, which she pretty much kind of explains the whole story to him. Is like, I like the one of the things I think definitely stands out in this like kind of like special itself is Olga. Olga is hilarious from the start, actively trying to take over the ship and has like this big massive shit-eating grin throughout the most of it, and definitely is a sneaky little bitch as she's like pulling knives out on Luffy saying, yo, you're gonna give me a ride, but actively is like, you really think you're gonna do anything to the Straw Hats? And actively getting attacked by, like, you know, from what we got to see for the good majority of Mad Treasure and his crew. And like his crew was kind of cool. I really liked the arrow chick, like coming in with the explosive arrows. You had like the one guy that had the camouflage thing that like Sanji ended up flying, because it was like, you had like the greatest power in the world, like why would you never use it like that? It's just like kind of reminded me a lot about like, especially like when they were in like a Thriller Bark when he was fighting the Liger that could turn invisible, and it's like, you don't use your powers for a lot of good. And like honestly, not too much of like the actual like movie film God is like kind of actively related to it up until like the very end. That kind of leads like the Straw Hat crew into there, and like one character that Nami mentions a bit later on. There were some parts in the actual story that kind of felt a bit shoehorned in, when it was like we found out that actually Mad Treasure, like Nami actually knew this guy, because like one day when she was captured, she just happened to steal this guy's like treasure, and there was another chick involved there, and they both got captured, and she ended up using her as a decoy and ended up escaping on her own, which we find out that this is one of the girls in like the actual film Gold movie, which you can see that he's taking a bath with like, you know, the main villain in the actual Gold movie, which I was like, okay, that's like something kind of interesting, like I believe his name Tresure Guild, like that is like, I was like, okay, there's something adding into it, but it felt weird. And Mad Treasure, I enjoyed him and all that. He felt like a really enjoyable One Piece villain. He was just like, I want the gold, I'm a dick, that's all you need to know about me, let's go and fuck things up. And you know, that's kind of like all that he needed to be. And then, you know, finding out a little bit more about like Olga and her father and what exactly, you know, like her family is. And then there was some actual very nice like surprises along the way about like some secrets about Olga and her island alchemy, and like finding out about like the actual gold itself. And it was like, there was some good stuff about like the movie I liked. The only thing I had issues with it was like probably like near around the end, like apart from like, yet again, it was the Zoro, Sanji and like, you know, like Luffy show that they were the only ones, like, you know, like it felt like, you know, like the other Straw Hats didn't do too much. They had like, oh, let's just solve this tiny gimmick in the movie, and it's like, oh, then we're gonna get captured. And it was like, there was a lot of good parts to this. I definitely say like probably this is like one of my favorite like things of like all of like One Piece, but then again, like, the smaller complaints that I had were kind of like things, and like him being able to survive the gastric acid inside the like the whole monster in the end, it was like, really? I mean, obviously he did have like the gold, the pure gold inside of him, but I was like, I pretty much thought that just kept you immortal, like pretty much like it kept you like, it stopped just slowing aging, but it didn't technically make you immortal. But fuck yeah, at the end of the day. But other than that, it's like it could have just been called something like entirely out there. Like the whole thing was like, go and get the MacGuffin, like beat up the bad guys, call it quits, go home, and that as well. And it was like the big eternal disease. That's why they made the whole ring in the first place, so Olga didn't age, and like the father as well was like, oh, we got this big disease so we wouldn't age at all. And then finding out just at the end, oh, Chopper just happens to coincidentally have the cure on hand. Like instead of saying like, yeah, that was thing I sorted ages ago. Like, how about I make it up for you? Or like, it's like, no, I just pull this thing out. It's like I said, like it was only small little nitpicks here and there, but overall, animation was great. Like it was absolutely fantastic. Definitely like, and I noticed as well that this was done by a different team as well. Like it was done by some of the Toei guys, but it was done by like a outside studio. For like, I think it was kind of the same studio that did like like the episode of Sabo, and since obviously most of Toei is working on the movie as of now. But on that, I definitely really enjoyed it. I definitely think it was a very fun, enjoyable experience, and like definitely I'd say for people like me as well who've lost a lot of hype and a lot of interest for One Piece since of recently, I'd say, like, even though it hasn't really pushed me to read the manga, I'm just going to let the manga chapters build at this point. Like, I would definitely say if you honestly are losing a little bit of hype for One Piece and all that, and losing a little bit of faith in it, then I would definitely say watch this. I think it was definitely enjoyable. It's got me more excited to see the movie now, because I had no interest whatsoever in the movie, because I was like, well, Film Z I thought was the best, like, One Piece movie, and it was like, I had no real interest in this, like, kind of bratty guy that was in it, like, who owned a casino. Like, that was kind of it. Like, but other than that, like, I'm looking forward to when, like, the movie comes out, but I'm kind of still a little bit on the movie itself. But apart from that, it's like, yeah, this kind of didn't have too much to do with, like, the actual film goal itself, apart from, like, the guy wanted the MacGuffin in the end, but then he was like, ah, fuck it, and then the whole bit with Nami kind of adding into it. But I will say this does take place after Dressrosa, but then obviously since Sanji's in the crew right now, and the others, so technically, like, it's trying to act like it's canon, but it isn't, like, unless, like, this is going to take place after Big Mom, which I highly doubt it, which I think that's a big, like, just straight up no there. But other than that, I would recommend this. I would definitely say, like, recommend it. It's an hour and a half long, an hour and 40, but it's still a really enjoyable experience. So I'm going to leave it off there for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys thought about Heart of Gold. One Piece, did this revitalize you in a bit in the One Piece anime? Does it give you any hope in the future? Definitely, I think, like, the only time that you should really be watching the One Piece anime now at this point is when they have that one special episode that's been animated properly, or that they bring out these specials, because, like I said, the episode of Sabo was fantastic, and it's like, that was, like, a really good special, and I'm really looking forward to, like, the rest of them that they pull out. But thank you very much for watching always, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.